I'm here at Vegan Life Live at Alexandra Palace in London, which is sort of stalls and talks all about veganism. The idea is to promote veganuary, which is trying to encourage people to try being vegan for January and make 2017 the year of the vegan. So let's go check it out.
This campaign was 2014. I thought, we could do a cool challenge, but we can do it to help animals. We were already vegans. We knew that what we were doing were reducing animal suffering, but we thought we need to get more people doing it and have a much bigger impact. January seemed the best month to do it for the start because New Year's resolutions, people's lifestyle changes, detox, feel better about themselves and what they're contributing to the world. So Vegan January became January, and
a lot of people call it Veganuary, which sounds really rude.
You get a lot of disappointed people coming to our website. So we've had over 90,000 people take part in January. This year, as you can see from the charts, has been our biggest yet. We've had 52,000 people.
54,000.
54,000.
Still people signing up every day, so we're hoping that by the end of January we might have 60,000 people signed up and taking a pledge. Next year we're aiming for 150,000. And we've worked out that by 2035 the whole world will have taken part in January. Convert people, then they stay with us, and then we start growing as a movement.
And I'm here to discuss my journey as an almost world-famous blogger. I'm the fat gay vegan, he's just a fat gay vegan. We can really put pressure on non-vegan businesses, and it's almost shocking how quickly non-vegan businesses are trying to rush out vegan menus. And I had an email this morning from the chain of bars called All Bar One. They've just launched a vegan menu, and it was actually quite impressive. It was like a nice menu, and they were like, we know that a lot of people read your blog, and we want people to know we care. I mean, they care about making money, right? But how much pressure we've put on people like ZZ and Sainsbury's. I mean, look at all the vegan labeling. We were all just relaxed and kicking back and dealing with whatever they gave us. We get nothing. We need to be active, we need to keep pushing, and a way to do that is to make your voice heard online and make your voice heard in real life. Do you know that when we did the Christmas market and 4,500 people showed up, there's a permanent restaurant on the site that is not vegan, not even close to vegan, and they went vegan for the day for the Christmas market. They had their busiest Saturday ever. Like, they took 6 times the money they would normally take on a Saturday. And they're now launching a permanent vegan, not just an item, but a permanent vegan menu. And so we did that, right? We are activists by making showing ourselves in numbers. We show people how strong we are.
She, in ZZ's, in Las Iguanas, in Pret, and the Handmade Burger Company. We've got offers running with all of them. 50% off for Handmade Burger Company, 2 for 1 at Las Iguanas and ZZ's. Go to veganuary.com/blog, you'll see the restaurant supported. It was the best redemption offer that they ever had. So they were very, very keen to work with us again. 12,000 people redeemed the voucher during January last year.
On average, people lost about 6 or 7 pounds during the month, which is obviously not everybody wants to lose weight, but for those that do, it's really positive.
We help people with the basics, so they get on board with the why, they know about the health, the environment and the animal reasons of why they should be trying veganism, and we just make it easier for them and enjoyable for them so they can live a happy, healthy month for January and hopefully going forward the rest of their life. We've proven that it has addictive qualities. Concentrated form obviously in cheese because it's in milk, it's there to encourage bonding between mother and infant. So when you put it in a very concentrated form like cheese, and you as a child, your taste buds are not the same as what they were then. So they do develop. What kind of cheeses are out there? So one of our favourites is Via Life. Chilies, spag balls, pies, pasties, sausages, sausage rolls, pulled chicken, there's quite a list of it. Shredded hoisin duck, sausage plats, spinach and mushroom burgers, country pies.
seeing t-shirts here where, vegan messages, where it's so popular now to do that. I thought, well, actually, I really care about animals, and I've been vegan a long time, and I thought, what could I do to use what I enjoyed doing, which is writing, to help animals. So I decided to start a blog. But the main reason I do these events is to help people feel celebrated within their veganism. We all know what it's like to go to an event and feel like the outsider, or to feel like you're watching yourself. Not here today, of course, but imagine going to a mainstream beer festival and trying to find out from individual brewers if all the beers are vegan, or what food there is available for you, or having to put up with people talking to you about, I could never be vegan because of this. So my events really are for people like you to feel celebrated and secure in your decision to live vegan. And out of, say, 1,000 people show up to the London Vegan Beer Fest, probably around 300 or 400 are not vegan. It's a really great form of outreach. It's about showing people how you can have fun and almost normal life as a vegan, right? We don't have to suffer. It's not like 1972 and we're all really, baked potatoes are nice, but it's not the only option you have in a cafe anymore. So if you run events in your neighborhood, you're not just doing it to create fun things to do for vegans or your friends. You're doing it to educate people in how they can become vegan or might consider living vegan. There is such demand for vegan events. I couldn't make a vegan event big enough, I don't think, right now. In London, it's always going to be at capacity. Look how many people are at this event. 10,000 or 12,000 people go to Veg Fest. 4,500 people showed up at the Christmas market. These things matter, they make a big difference. I want you to use your unique voice. Hopefully the core of your message is the same as mine, which is we really need to step up and improve outcomes for animals.
Terrifying and painful deaths, their lives are miserable as well. There's a reason we hide this away. There's a reason no one wants to see this. We don't like to think about it. And this was the #1 issue that he thinks our descendants will look back on us and judge us for, is one of the greatest crimes in history. And he says that through the agricultural revolution and the domestication of these animals, we've been able to produce animals who we can keep alive quite easily. We can provide the basic needs for the functioning of their biology, at the same time as denying them every single one of their behavioral needs. So these are actually the most numerous, but also the most miserable animals who have ever existed. My PhD is in animal behavior, and I couldn't agree with that statement more. Every animal reared on a factory farm is denied every single one of their behavioral needs. Everything that would give their life meaning in the wild is taken, never provided. The type of hens who you will use for egg production are not the same type of birds you would use for meat production. So it's not like you can just take those males and send them off to a broiler farm to be fattened. They won't put the weight on, so they're useless. So most of them in the UK are now gassed, but in many countries they are still macerated. And I went to a livestock fair about 10 years ago, and they were selling macerators, and the slogan on the stand selling the macerator was, "Minces chickens in minutes, chicks in seconds." And literally you just take all your male chicks and chuck them in there alive, and they're macerated. We do import 60% of our pork from other countries. Males are castrated, and this is all performed without anesthetic. In the UK, we just slaughter the males at an earlier age, but this is done to prevent what's called boar taint. So once the hormones really start pumping, it can make the meat taste very gamey in the males. So in some countries, they just take the offending objects out, but in the UK, we just slaughter them before they reach puberty. And tail docking. Now this is another issue that's been mandated against under European law. You are not allowed to routinely tail dock piglets because we recognize how painful it is and that it can cause long-term chronic pain. Every pig I've ever seen on a pig farm in Britain has been tail docked, and they're docked when they're tiny little piglets. So the law states that you can only do it as a last resort once you've taken every other measure to prevent tail biting. Now, every other measure means giving them more room, giving them proper enrichment. But every farm you go into, they're on a barren slatted floor with a piece of wood on a string, and they're all tail docked. And And every time we bring this to DEFRA and say they're legally tail docking, well, no, they're doing it on the advice of their veterinarian as part of the farm health plan, and that's okay. There's no way an animal who's reared like this could be healthy for you to eat. So this is a trout pool, and I mean it's exactly the same as a broiler shed. Lots of animals crammed into a very small space. So the conditions in that water will be full of feces as well. They also spread disease, just like animals inside intensive chicken sheds and pig sheds. And we know that these sorts of farms use large quantities of antibiotics to keep the animals alive. On fish farms, the big problem are parasites, and they spread like mad when the fish are in close contact like that. So rather than antibiotics, what they're doing is they're having toxic chemicals dumped onto them all of the time to try and kill these ectoparasites. That's a sea louse there. And sometimes if you look at fresh fish in the counter in the supermarket, they still have lice on them.
Virtual reality, and felt that this really provided a new opportunity for us as campaigners, because anyone who's been into a factory farm knows that it's the foulest place on earth. And if you could only take people there with you, it would make them off eating meat. They are misery personified, and most people would find it appalling. So virtual reality allows us to do the next best thing, and that's take the factory farm and the slaughterhouse to people.
I've got a non-vegan partner. I don't know if I can live with them anymore. And I often say things like, just move out.
You told me this is going to cure my hangover, and I'm so confident that it's going to cure my hangover. That's so good. Yeah, right.